This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat that far. We keeping a foot on the whoop on the Knicks. We keeping a foot on the whoop on the Knicks. And like the Tibetan Sheriff that I am, man. Like the Siberian tiger that I am, I'm applying whoop unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Let's talk about it, man. He Knows Everything is not in the business to tell you guys basically why he cares about your opinion. He's basically explaining to you guys why he is right. Now, I know a lot of Wilder zealots, i.e. Bomb Squad, or really their bum squad, brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads. They feeling some type of way. They hot and bothered like grits. They getting slide to the mouth about the fact that Deontay Wilder has a lot of precarious situations that has basically enamored him, that has basically been identified by him, that has basically been circling him in terms of where he's at from a pedigree of a boxing standpoint. But let me explain something to you, brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads. The T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I know this because I got my Spence versus Pacquiao tickets. I told you guys I'm going to the fucking fight. And it is the fight of the year. Spence said something a long time ago. Errol the True Spence said that this is the biggest fight of the year. He took his dig already at Deontay Wilder. And it's facts. Go look at the top 2 channels that covers our basically what we would say version of boxing on YouTube, and i.e. Fight Hype and Fight Hub TV. Both of these platforms are over 1 million subs. And if you look at both of these platforms, what do you find that's a commonality? What do you find that's a pedigree? What do you find that's an authenticity, a consistency, a verification, a certification, an authorization, and what we would say basically an approval? It's the fact that Errol the True Spence and Manny Pacquiao is being talked about. Fight fans can't wait to see that fight. No one's talking about Wilder versus Fury 3. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, He Knows Everything tried to talk you guys off the ledge, but a prophet is not honored in his own home. But those whom they've rejected became the chief cornerstone. He Knows Everything told you guys that Errol the True Spence is basically the true face of boxing. Y'all wouldn't listen, neither would y'all pay attention. And that, like Richard Schaefer said, we left the Mayweather era and we ushered into the Spence era. There's a reason why Richard Schaefer, when he speaks, he's one of the very few fucking people, when he runs his mouth, you have to, like a turkey, gobble it up. I done told you guys, do your research on this guy. This guy, before he went into boxing, he was a hellified investor, a hellified banker in the Switzerland. And the transactions that he did, the transactional things that he was able to achieve in Switzerland. Now, you know, Switzerland has this corruption in terms of how money is moved and things of that nature, money laundering. We don't want to get into all of that. We're going to get into the brain of Richard Schaefer. Richard Schaefer is a guy who has been entrusted with a lot of heavyweight financial transactions. But he's also become a mouthpiece for boxing. When Richard Schaefer endorses something, you best believe what he's endorsing is on rocky foundation, which will never be shaken or breaking. Richard Schaefer said that Mayweather was going to take over boxing. You got to do your research on Richard Schaefer. He said this shit right before the Oscar De La Hoya fight. And what has happened? We have the Mayweather era. Richard Schaefer also, during the Mikey Garcia fight, which is where the Spence era began, he said, one era has ended and the other one has began. We left the Mayweather era and we ushered into the Spence era. It's a Spence era. Wilder never had no fucking era. The best that Wilder had was he was a close, very number fucking 2. And he ruined that. Via paid to lose, via glove gate of a boxing stainage. If you notice, Wilder and Fury was served up first before Errol the True Spence and Pacquiao. This is how you could tell who's the true face of boxing. This is how you could tell who's the headliner. Usually the headliner don't go first. If you guys know anything about music, you know anything about venues, you know anything about anything that's associated with a headliner, Headliners always go last. Notice they served Wilder and Fury up like two bitches on July 24th at the same venue, the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. See, everything he knows, everything says can be quantified, calculated, verified, certified. You do your research, you'll see they were booked at the same venue, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, because it's the new arena that everybody's basically booking venues, music, boxing, all forms of entertainment, Cirque du Soleil shows. All of this shit is being basically manufactured and distributed out of T-Mobile now. Errol Spence was a month after, not even, August 21st. But Bob Errol has been taking many L's from fucking Al Heyman. Al Heyman lets you know, based on the way that he's allowed these fight dates to happen, who is the true face of boxing. If you notice, Al Heyman gives Errol Spence the treatment that he gave Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder. He gives Errol Spence the same treatment that he gave Floyd Mayweather. Deontay Wilder wish he had that fucking treatment. It's basically, I'm going to basically allow you to do whatever you want to do. Al Heyman is the ultimate alpha male. As long as Floyd Mayweather in the past and Errol Spence now, they don't go against Al Heyman's advisement, they're good to go. Floyd tried one time to get out of pocket and basically say, I'm happy with the $7 million. I'm happy for the 7-figure checks that I'm getting, but I like to do other shit. And Al Heyman had to G-check him and basically tell him, did I not tell you would be retired, you would have 7 figures for the rest of your life? Did I not tell you that you would be the biggest boxer in boxing? This is Floyd that testified it. Notice Al don't never say nothing because Al's the ultimate alpha male. Alpha males always gotta denote what he says. I told you guys, there's levels to this alpha shit and there's levels to this beta shit. If you listen to this channel, you're gonna always be ahead of the curve, ahead of the wave, ahead of the aisle, and ahead of the damn situation. Floyd was testifying this shit. Al told him, did I not tell you that you would be the biggest draw in boxing? Did I not tell you that you would be the biggest box office? So what the fuck are you complaining about? This came out of Floyd's mouth because Floyd was complaining even more, and Al told him, look, in your retirement, you're going to have to downsize. Floyd didn't want to downsize. Floyd wasn't looking at the bigger fucking picture. But Al saw the bigger picture. If you don't fucking downsize, you're going to have an MC fucking Hammer situation. If you look at Floyd now, his entourage is not what it used to be. The people around him that swarming him are not what they used to be. Because Al Heyman had to drill it in his fucking head. You're not making that kind of money no more consistently. You're not active as a fucking fighter. So what the fuck do you need all this shit around you? And Floyd didn't listen. And Floyd got out of pocket. And Floyd basically went into his own bullshit and fuck shit. Didn't listen to the shrewdest businessman in entertainment. Not just boxing, entertainment. Because if you do your research on Al Heyman, the Mariah Careys of the world, all these people exist because of Al Heyman. You gotta do your fucking research on people before you talk. This is why he knows everything is always authorized, calculated, certified, verified, and authorized to talk, because he does his research on people. He don't just run his fucking mouth like all of these other YouTube fucking channels. That this other Rudy Poop and Plum Brain, classic dope and troglodyte, ultra fucking fanboy with the ultra fucking fanboy rhetoric had the nerve to say, you just run your mouth. The other channels prove substance. What substance did they prove? They prove what? How to be pure fucking beta supremes? They prove how to be what? Beta cuck males? They prove how to be what? Mama's boy pure fucking beta supreme iterations? This channel over here proves shit because boxers, trainers, promoters, all alike, they basically confirm what He Knows Everything says. And you know what's the caveat behind this? It's not like He Knows Everything talks to them, and it's not like they talk to He Knows Everything. But they're always going to confirm what a He Knows Everything says, because He Knows Everything stands in a strong man's position. He's in a position of authority, and he speaks with a position of authority. When you speak this way, everybody's always going to confirm what the fuck you say, because you know what you're saying is on rocky and solid foundation that can never be shaken or breaking. But all of these other brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo head YouTube channels are on what we call sandy foundation, which always finds them into the blind, leading the blind into the ditch of what we call a quicksand. When it's all said and done, Al Heyman had to G-check Floyd Mayweather. And if Errol Spence ever get out of pocket, Al Heyman will do that shit to his ass too. And make Errol Spence testify just like Floyd Mayweather testified. This is how powerful Al Heyman is. And Al Heyman basically told Errol the Truth Spence, here's your lineage. But he knows everything, said it before Al even said it. This is why he knows everything is Nostradamus. This is why he is Sun Tzu, aka Art of War, the reincarnation. 7 steps ahead of the game, 48 laws of power on that ass. The new edition, dog. Because when it's all said and done, Al Heyman was sending a fundamental message that he knows everything sends to these YouTube channels. Don't ever shine above the fucking master. And know your role and know your fucking place. Let me say it again. Because what I said was so deep and profound. If you let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. So hear me. You hear me fucking well. Don't ever shine above the master and know your fucking role and know your place. Operate in that motherfucker and live in that damn lane. When it's all said and done, Al Heyman promised Errol the Truth Spence, but he knows everything, told you this would be the lineage. After Sean Porter, it would be Manny fucking Pacquiao. Are we in the Manny Pacquiao versus Spence? Why do you think so many people come back and say he knows everything? You said this would happen. A prophet is not honored in his own home. People are saying this shit now. Those whom they've rejected became the chief cornerstone. People are saying that now. Because they understand. They're always late to the fucking party. They're 7 steps behind the damn party. But if they was listening and paying attention, they would already be ahead of the curve, the aisle, the wave of the damn situation. When it's all said and done, Al Heyman told him after Manny Pacquiao would be Terrence Bud Crawford. This is the lineage that Errol the Truth Spence is getting. He's getting what Al Heyman promised him. It's like Floyd Mayweather was promised Manny Pacquiao by Al Heyman, but in due fucking time. Even Floyd was starting to get impatient by the shit. And I'll tell him, again, did I not do this for you? Did I not do that for you? So who's telling you this shit ain't gonna happen? Because when you dealing with Al Heyman, you're dealing with rocky and solid foundation. Why did I say all of this and how did this contextualize? Wilder has bit the fucking hand that fed him. The hand that has fed him is Al fucking Heyman. This is why Al Heyman doesn't give Deontay Wilder co-billing. If Deontay Wilder wanted to get to the level of being basically what we would say a Raul. Why am I saying Raul? Because the 5th of the North Star only has one successor, but Raul was so damn lethal and dominant that he was an unofficial successor, even though he wasn't a successor. I mean, Kenshiro killed his ass, but he had successor capabilities. So if Kenshiro wasn't there, he'd be the successor. This is what Deontay Wilder was going to have. He would never be on Errol the Truth Spence level, but he would be on Raul, 5th of the North Star level, to Errol the Truth Spence's Kenshiro. But Errol the Truth Spence's Kenshiro. And last time we checked with Kenshiro, White Amo, Sinteru. Don't you already know? You already fucking dead. So Wilder would never be on that level. He would never be the Arrowfield fighter. He would never be the Spence era. Wilder would never have his fucking era, but Wilder would be so close. And that's why he was a close number 2. Then he started listening to the LDBC, which are Mama's Boy Pure fucking Beta Supremes, Beta Cuck Males, Mama's Boy Beta Cuck Male Iterations, Beta Cuck Males, Beta Males. Started listening to them. So I was like, okay, these fucking haters. You're listening to these conquer and divide, divide and conquer. Floyd always talks about them in basically what we would say indirect passage, because Floyd already see what they was about. They was about that bullshit, fuck shit, that conquer and divide and conquer. So you know what Al Heyman did? Okay, you want to be like that? I had you at a very close number 2. Now I'm going to really treat you like Errol the Truth Spence's bitch. I'm going to have you go right before him. Because Al didn't give a fuck. Al wasn't all about promoting that fucking fight. He left that shit to Bob Arum, dog. That's why you see the shit is happening the way it's happening. When Deontay Wilder catches a fucking screw, and Deontay Wilder starts thinking and using his corpus callosum and in his cerebellum, and he wants to activate his alpha and relinquish the beta status that he's been constantly in right now these days, Al Heyman will fucking remember him, and Al Heyman will say, okay, now the shrewdest businessman is going to govern your affairs again, and we're not going to let you get done the fuck up like that. But Al Heyman has been hands off with Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder thinks that he has it so much fucking together. And look at what has happened. Postponement. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, On the surface, it looks like it's Tyson Fury. But boxing is a 3-pronged monster. if you understand the 3-point monster clause, you would understand what's being happened. You would understand what's happening here. You would understand how shit is moving. I'm a businessman. I govern my affairs at the highest level, so I understand business transactions. They don't want Wilder and Fury, i.e. Bob Arum, to try to compete with Spence versus Pacquiao. Bob Arum is smart enough as an old car salesman, aka shiesty motherfucker, to know the buzz behind Spence versus Pacquiao is going to inflate steam from Wilder versus Fury 3. So we're going to make some shit up. We're going to say Tyson Fury got COVID. Look at this motherfucker. Was he just hanging out at a fucking football game? This is why Deontay Wilder is looking so kind of fucked up on so many levels. He's been making so many pure fucking beta supreme gaffes. I've been trying to help this brother, man. I've been admonishing him, chastising him, correcting, but he don't listen or fucking pay attention. He's hard-headed. What's fucking Deontay Wilder up is his stubbornness and his hard-headedness. God talked about this with the people of Israel. He said the people of Israel are stiff-necked, though. They stubborn. So you know what he did? He had them circled for 40 years in the wilderness until they died off. Because he knew those stubborn and stiff-necked people would not be the ones that would taste of the milk and the honey of the promised land. Deontay Wilder is not going to taste the milk and the honey of the promised land that Al Heyman has for him if he doesn't relinquish himself from these mama's boy pure fucking beta supremes, beta cuck males, and beta males. If he don't relinquish himself from these people, Al Heyman is going to keep letting his ass get fed to the fucking wolves. Embarrassment from headphones. The reason why Deontay Wilder had headphones on is because he was fucking embarrassed. And people don't want to admit that shit. When have you ever seen Deontay Wilder have headphones on? This confirms what he knows everything is saying. If you guys are not even paying attention to the signs keep confirming what he knows everything told you when he said this was some WWE shit. Paid to lose via glove gate. When have you ever seen Deontay Wilder have headphones on? When have you ever seen Deontay Wilder let Tyson Fury? When have you ever seen a grown-ass man of Deontay Wilder's stature, if Deontay Wilder was really in bronze bomber, athletic and explosive stature, of letting this Gypsy King gyrate behind him? It's as if he was just basically telling him, turn the fuck around and suck my shit. Deontay Wilder has been emasculated. Boxing community fan bases, these black so-called versions don't want to tell you that because they don't conquer and divide. He's been castrated. That means his testicles have been fucking removed from him. Because if that wasn't the case, and Deontay Wilder was really about the shit that Deontay Wilder was about, then we would see Deontay Wilder not in the precarious situation that he's in. And then Deontay Wilder got the truth serum. Let me say it again. He got the truth serum. Just like these black boxing community fan bases are so-called. I remember when He Knows Everything did the first video and said this was Errol the True Spence era and not Deontay Wilder's era. They got on He Knows Everything like crazy. Oh, Deontay Wilder's the face of boxing. But they had to postpone the fight date. It's the things that make you say, Isn't Errol the True Spence and Manny Pacquiao in the same venue a month later? It's the things that make you say, See, every time y'all run y'all mouths, a prophet is not honored in his own home. But those whom they've rejected became the chief cornerstone. What Wilder learned is that Errol the True Spence is the rock star. And Errol the True Spence took his dig at Deontay Wilder and said this will be the biggest fight of the year. You don't think Errol the True Spence knew that Wilder and Fury was happening a month before? Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop being brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads. Stop being mindless, the blind leading the blind into the ditch. Take the wolves off of your eyes, man, because they have blinded you. They have neuro-linguistic programmed you. He Knows Everything is here to apostatize and then proselytize your ass into true and rare boxing knowledge, folks. But that's if you would listen to the invitation of the Alpha Nation. Because when it's all said and done, Errol the True Spence versus Manny Pacquiao is the fight of the year. Bar fucking none. It's not even close. Errol the True Spence has proved to you guys that he commands a level we haven't seen since Floyd Mayweather. So hence the vernacular, hence the vocabulary, hence the terminology. We left the Mayweather era and we ushered into the Spence era. Infamously said by Richard Schaefer, because Richard Schaefer understands rocky and solid foundation that's associated behind the Spence era. Because when it's all said and done, it's the Spence era. If Deontay Wilder wants to reclaim his number 2 status, which has now been given to Gervonta Tank Davis, and then the Charlos hold the number 3 spot, then he better tuck fucking ass, tighten the fuck up, relinquish these mama's boy pure fucking beta supreme iterations, beta cuck males, these pure beta supremes, and fall his ass right in line up on the Al Heyman once again. Absence doing this, absence bending the proverbial fucking knee and kissing the ring while he's at it, what he's going to see is that Errol the True Spence is going to continue to be the face of boxing, the true face of boxing, and he's going to be left out in the pasture so that he can be sacrificial lamb for the Gypsy King and i.e. Tyson Fury, and then he will be relynched again. I keep the foot on the whoop, the Deeks. I keep the foot on the whoop, the Deeks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.